All right, welcome back, y'all, to the Chiefs Pit. We got the Petty brothers here, Timmy Petty, Mark Petty, and Richie Petty. And we're going to be discussing today a little getaway that the Petty family had for the last 50 years. Our dad and our uncle, and they lived and breathed racing. It was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just everything involved while they was around here in racetracks. It was just so intense. And every now and then they needed to get away. And they had this little secret bat cave they had head down to on the southern part of the state here, Holden Beach, North Carolina. And it was just a nice little family getaway. Richard and Ronnie Hucks had a house, and Daddy had a house, and we had some good friends from Random in here, the Van Waries. They had a house down there. And a lot of good memories there, wasn't it, guys?
Part of the Brunswick Isles beaches down in Brunswick County, North Carolina. And, you know, the funny thing about Holden Beach is it laid east and west versus north and south like most of the beaches on the East Coast. And Daddy always would point out here and say, well, if you look straight ahead, that's Florida.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Now, you were discussing, you was telling us our little tie-in where was the Van Waries.
Yeah, with Martha Jane Bunkemeyer, the Bunkemeyers, that was her family. Martha Jane was
Claude and Helen.
Richard's personal secretary
and we called
for
them
years.
Granny Baby and Claude.
Yeah. And they actually had a store down there. That's what, when they moved out of Random and they went down there and they opened up a store, didn't they?
Right when you come across the drawbridge.
Yeah.
And I thought it was Holden Beach store. You said it was Van Waries.
Well,
You just never thought about being Van Waries.
Yeah, but it was.
Van Waries Grocery, right?
Yeah, or whatever it was. But yeah, it was just a small store.
Now the Holden
they
brothers.
They ran it for years, didn't they?
The Holden brothers, Lynn and Alan, they ran the little pavilion down there.
Surfside.
And that was always some good memories because we'd always have a whole group of us, Richard and his crowd and Daddy and his crowd, and it'd be a bunch of people coming with us. And I remember going in there because they had a putt-putt, little souvenir shop and game room, and they had like a snack bar. You could get hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
And but the
ice cream.
The ice cream I was supposed to go on is I'd get that chocolate dip.
Yep.
Cone. I can remember sitting out there and it would melt faster than you could eat it.
Well,
all down my hands.
But you know, we'd go. Daddy would sit in the van and watch us play putt-putt while he ate his ice cream.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But my big memory of that pavilion was the artifacts from that. Was it a Civil War ship that had sunk right out there?
Right out in front of it.
Yeah. That was right there on it. Now, didn't you run into Lynn Holden and he'd tell you?
Yeah, me and Dad run into him just 4 or 5 years ago, and he said he always liked to see the Petty show up because every kid would have a roll of quarters. And he knew he was going to spend every one of them, whether it's on the pinball machine, the ice cream, the putt-putt, or whatever.
Yeah.
I always get me a couple of them hamburgers. Them things were right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Mom and Aunt Linda and all, they'd always have a crowd of people because there'd always people coming with us. Like with us, you'd have the Dotsons would come with us, and you'd have different ones coming with Linda and them. But we'd have a beach party, more or less, down there at times. There'd be a whole crowd of us out there.
There'd be people everywhere.
Well, you could walk to that pavilion from their house,
right?
And we were pretty good ways from it on the other side of the pier. But yeah, we always had a bunch of people, and we'd gather up and spend all day. And Martha Jane was pretty much the ramrod of Holden Beach.
Seemed like it.
She still is.
She's like the beach. We always
she's the mayor.
Beach commissioner is what we call her.
Yeah.
Now, the neat thing about our little beach house down there, and we still got it in our family, but Daddy, he wouldn't put a telephone in the place because when he went down there, he wanted to get away from this place completely.
He didn't want to
clear
hear
his
phone
mind,
ringing,
right?
no.
Now the Van Waries had a phone, and if there was an emergency, yeah, they could get a hold of us. But yeah, I don't think he got a telephone in the place until the '90s. Whenever he needed cable TV so he could watch the races, so he had a telephone put in.
So, what's the general store that the Holden boys started out there?
The Beach Mart.
Yeah, so the Beach Mart, heck, they've been in business
They're
for
still there.
40-some years or better,
Yeah.
right? So, it actually started while we were down there. All right, so what's one of the places we used to go eat at that was kind of a hole in the wall?
Oh, the Barnacle Bills. Go down and get a
The hot dog stand.
And we'd sit out there and go order a hot dog, and they'd holler at you when it was ready.
Oh yeah.
And then you had Granny Baby loved Jenny's, the chicken
Oh
place.
yeah. Grandmother.
When you had the pier, you go up there and get a hot dog.
Oh yeah, they had good breakfast
Yep.
too.
And see, grandmother, she would always take her little group of women down there, and they would stay down there for a few days, and they'd like to go to that place and eat. But the growing up down there, man, we we was little kids, and that back in the day, Daddy had a little Jeep, and you could actually drive on the beach.
On the dunes.
Yeah, and then we'd go over and fish on the backside and do all kinds of stuff. And we'd pick blackberries. I mean, there was nobody there. This was a desolate place, and that's built up now. It's a major beach vacation place.
We'd go over and dig clams.
When Not On Pop would come, we'd always go out there and dig clams.
Yeah. And Claude had them crab traps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To catch the Carolina blue crab.
So they would have with between the Van Waries, Not On Pop, Mom and Daddy, whatever we gather. Remember, we'd get them blackberries over there too, and then make a cobbler and the clam chowder and the fish that we catch off the surf or the pier.
Spots.
But you talking about the pier? I was always, you'd go out there and you'd start off, and it would be all the wood would be together, and the further you got out, the further them cracks was. I'd get that queasy feeling walking out as a kid.
Oh, you thought she was gonna fall through? Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was kind of scary.
It was nothing. I mean, especially around late June, July, we were doing a lot of harvesting.
Now the pier, they had a game room also. You could go up there and play some games, but this was before all the video games and stuff. This was a
pinball pool.
Yeah,
well, they had a few video games.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
the real.
But it was pinball and that baseball pinball game.
Oh yeah, them baseball games. I love them.
But you talk about the good memories down there. Usually when we went, it was holidays because it was back in the day. NASCAR didn't run on Easter. They didn't run on Mother's Day.
Right.
And those were the times you were down there.
Just a few times.
Sometimes it was cold
But
during
now,
Easter.
you remember, was it 79 that NASCAR gave Daddy a vacation? I think he might have.
March.
March
of 79.
He might have.
We had a disagreement with a NASCAR official on pit road, and the guy kind of lost his headset.
Yeah. So, anyways, he got we called it a vacation from the races because so he couldn't go. He was suspended for 2 races.
Right.
But I remember we was coming back from the beach that after the suspension was over, and Mom said, "When you go to the racetrack this week, can you hit somebody else so we can come back down here?"
Yes.
Now, after like Daytona for the 4th of July, we would always come back, and Daddy would spend a couple of days at Holden Beach when we had time. And there was one time we came back, and Timmy here, we had just got there and unloaded, and he'd bought him some bottle rockets coming up through South Carolina, and he was out there on the beach lighting them up and sending them off into the ocean.
Oh, but what would happen is you would shoot them bottle rockets in the ocean, and they would actually, especially at night, you could see them exploding. And I thought that was the neatest thing in the world. So we was out there doing it, and a guy walks up to us and said, "What are y'all doing?" "Well, we're just shooting, we had a cigar and we'd light them up."
Now, Timmy was 16 years old.
I got arrested right in front of the house.
And he went, they took him before the magistrate, and the magistrate was like, "This is the first time somebody's ever been arrested for shooting fireworks at Holden Beach." And so Timmy, he set the record there. But what happened was Barney Fife, the deputy there, he seen that he was a petty, and so he got all excited and put the arrest on him.
I wasn't too enthused about it myself.
Yeah. Now growing up, we grew into playing a little bit of golf. And Dad would go over to that Lockwood Follies. Daddy liked to play there, and then down there in Oyster Bay and places like that. And Daddy at the time could get around pretty good, and he was a pretty good little golfer, wasn't he?
Yep, left-handed.
Yeah, he could shoot the ball. Now
he did everything else right-handed, but he hit a golf ball and swung a baseball bat left-handed.
One of the things about Holden Beach is the turtle sanctuary, the sea turtle. And our mom actually got to see one.
Well, we was out. Remember, we were out playing.
Yeah.
Because back in them days, they'd turn us loose and we would just go. But we was out playing hide and seek or something. And remember, we run up on that turtle.
Mm-hmm.
It was laying eggs.
So we run back and got them, and we come back and we sat there that night and watched the turtle lay the eggs and then go back into the ocean. That was and that's a memory I still have today, and that's like 10 years old.
Well, and now they mark those nests, and you're not supposed to.
Oh no, they're federally protected. You don't want to mess with them. And we didn't. We stood back and watched.
Yeah, we were just witnessing it.
But we was just out. I thought it was a sandcastle, and we were going to go jump on it, and then we figured out it was a turtle.
One of the things that's kind of unique to Holden Beach.
That was back in 1978, probably, wasn't it?
It's been a minute.
Silver Hill Diner and the Shrimp Burgers.
Well, they still open too, right?
Yes.
It's Silver Hill Grill.
Yeah, Silver Hill.
Yeah, it's heading out.
But it's just a little small place, and My God, those, and they even got a scallop burger.
Oh, yeah.
Just out of this
Now,
world.
one of the tell you was talking about eating. The mom and daddy they run across this place in Charlotte in the '90s, and they loved it till the day they died. And every time we'd go to the beach, we'd go to it's the Mama Bravo's Pizza, a little hole in the wall place over there.
Yeah,
It's some of the best pizza in the area.
Italian food in general.
Plus, he had good, probably the wings. His wings are really good.
Yep.
But you want to tell that story about the owner there?
You know,
Well, we all do. but-
Well, I'll set it
Yeah,
up.
you tell it. You tell it.
I'll set it up for you and I'll let you finish. But during this time of 2011, well, just 2011, Daddy would go in there and he wouldn't tell anybody anything about racing. I mean, I'm telling you, he went down there, he got away from it. Some
Yeah.
people, he'd go in these places, nobody knew who he was. So he went in this place and ate for 20 years.
Yeah.
And became good friends with the owner. I mean, just a, hey, how are you? And they'd love seeing Daddy and Mama come in there. Well, this was the time Grandfather Petty was getting put into the Hall of Fame. And there in the Hall of Fame, we inducted him. And so I had a little speech. Mark had a little speaking part, and Timmy had a speaking part. And then we inducted, and then Richard and Daddy come up there. I think Kyle too had something to say.
Yeah, we was all up there.
Yeah, the whole family.
pretty
It was
good
a
deal,
really nice evening for us all. But here come Morris and Richard up there, so we had us all up there. But anyway, we were right after this. This was May of 2011. I think we was in there in June or July.
well, the guy seen him on TV.
Right. I was gonna say, Mark, you know that story's good.
Well, they went back down to the beach and they went in there and that guy said he said I had no idea you are who you are. And Daddy and Mom was like, what do you mean? And he said he was watching television after work one night and he was watching the Hall of Fame induction. And he said, the three of us got up there and made the speech. And he said, well, I know that guy. I know that guy. And then here come Daddy out in his little scooter.
Yeah.
And he said, I know that guy. And he had no idea that.
Yeah, he's like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah,
that was always pretty neat.
So anyway, we still
trade with them today.
When you took Daddy down the last time.
Yeah, his last beach trip.
Y'all went by the scene. And now in 2020, Daddy died in July. And I took him down there in June and took him out on the beach for the last time. I mean, I didn't know it was the last time, but.
Yeah, well, me and him went back down there for the 4th of July. And I remember we was leaving. And he was in that chair and it was hard to get him up on the deck. And he said to me, he said, can you get me up out there one more time? I want to see that beach one more time.
Yeah.
I said, oh, you're going to see it plenty more times. And it turned out that was
Yeah.
was it.
3 weeks later, he's in heaven.
I guess what I was, he wanted me and Ramsey to take him out there on the beach. He wanted to put his feet in the water one last time.
Yeah.
He said, but like you said, I didn't know it was going to be the last time. But
You never do.
yeah, but that was the last time Richard Mars. Because Richard come by for the 4th.
Yep.
He was down there and they spent some time together. That was kind of a neat
Yeah,
deal for him.
3 weeks before Dad passed,
So,
they got to hang out at Holden Beach one more time together.
Let's go back in history. Get away from this a minute. But they both together collectively had a dune buggy. And I don't even know what kind of motor.
Oh, I remember
Oh, yeah, it looked like the one off Scooby-Doo.
And it had them old dirt white
Golly,
slicks
yeah.
on it or whatever. And I remember being a little bitty kid. I mean, I couldn't have been 5 or 6 years old maybe. And that thing would sling that sand. It would sandblast you. And I hated it. I hated that dune buggy because you were riding the back and you was just getting pelted. And he said, what's wrong with you? I'd be back there crying. And I was like,
And they'd be laughing
and
at you.
what's wrong with you, boy? And I was like, I couldn't tell him at the time. I didn't know what sandblaster was, but it would hurt. It would sting, it would hit you so hard.
What's that new place that you like to go eat at down here in town now?
Jerome's?
The
Oh, the Wings and Fish.
Wings and Fish. Yeah, that's
Wings
a
and
good
Fish
place,
and
yeah.
Slope, that's
Yeah.
good.
Betty's Waterfront was always
Yeah.
a place. I don't think it's there no more, is it?
There's something there now, but I don't know what it is. But you go all the way back to
yeah.
James
Something about the
Seafood.
devil crab right in that area that's better than anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stuffed flounder and whatnot.
Well, that's been some good memories, and we still go down there, and we still gonna make some more memories, ain't we?
I hope so.
I hope so
Yeah,
too.
planning on it.
Yeah, and you might run into us down there in Charlotte and Mama Bravo's. You might catch us down there on the beach. So, like and subscribe, and check out our online store. We got some T-shirts and stuff. So, thanks for sticking with us.